right now in the impact zone, it is time for a main event with no disqualifications.
The following is a no disqualification match. Introducing first, from Franklin, Tennessee, weighing in at 232 pounds, the world-class maniac, Eric Young!
2 weeks ago at Victory Road, Eric Young lost to Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry had been sneak attacked, we suspect, by Eric Young earlier on in the evening, and yet still Hendry persevered. But as we learned last week, Joe Hendry was looking to move on, to move past Eric Young, when Santino Marella informed Joe Hendry that this no disqualifications match had been signed for by someone above him.
So any which way you toss it, things are not done between Eric Young and Joe Hendry.
His opponent from Edinburgh, Scotland, weighing in at 252 pounds, of pure motivation, we believe into Hendry.
The global phenomenon is geared up for a no disqualifications match, but I'll ask you, Hendry thought he put Eric Young in the rear view, so how does he focus on this extreme environment?
I mean, you just do what you gotta do, one step forward, clearly. He's here ready for a fight. I mean, remember back in Victory Road, it was Eric Young who tried to introduce steel chairs to the equation. Unfortunately for him, his former proteges, Judas Icarus and Travis Williams, ran interference, allowing Joe Hendry to get the advantage and get the win that night.
It's Eric Young against Joe Hendry in a no disqualifications match. Next. We are back here on TNA iMPACT. This is our main event, 3 days before our biggest event of the year. Battle for Glory. It's a no disqualifications matchup between Joe Hendry and Eric Young. No countouts, no disqualifications. Of course, the only way to win is via pinfall or submission in the ring.
And it looks like Joe Hendry was more than willing, ready, and able to compete under those rules right from the bell.
Talked about it before the commercial break. Joe Hendry had defeated Eric Young 2 weeks ago at Victory Road despite a pre-match attack that left Hendry down backstage. We suspect that assault by Eric Young. Young, to your point, trying to introduce steel chairs in that matchup, but still, last week Santino Marella informed Joe Hendry that he had a no disqualifications match against Eric Young. That left Hendry puzzled, but Joe is adapting to the environment.
More than willing to make it work.
I remember how he created something magical in a .combat match a long time ago against Moose for the now retired Digital Media Championship. Oh!
I remember a second Dreamcast being used at one point.
Yes.
There's nothing if not unique ideas from the mind of Joe Hendry.
But this is not typically Hendry's wheelhouse. It typically is what Eric Young thrives in.
Which you have to imagine played a part in getting this match made. I don't know if Eric Young spoke to someone, more likely threatened someone. Either way, this matchup is now happening in an environment that Eric Young is more than happy to play in.
Joe Hendry sent it to the steel post, and there's Eric Young on top of Hendry.
We've talked about it for weeks now. Eric Young and this cleanse he's wanted to bring to TNA Wrestling to get rid of whatever he sees as wrong with the state of TNA Wrestling, and he wanted to start with Joe Hendry.
Young dismantled the Northern Armory, targeted Joe Hendry, and somehow someone above Santino Marella signed off on this matchup.
Now
the throat of Joe Hendry.
If there was any more apropos way to commit a cleanse in the mind of the world-class maniac, I can't think of it.
Driving the chain into the mouth of Joe Hendry.
It's almost like this is what he wanted all along.
This past Tuesday night at Showdown, Joe Hendry was the special guest referee for the men's matchup between Team TNA and Team NXT. His loyalty was questioned, and tonight his toughness is being questioned. Can Eric Young cleanse TNA of Joe Hendry? Seen a number of times how Eric Young has gone off on security, referees, fans even.
He's been more unhinged than usual, that's to say the least, over the last several weeks.
Oh, God! That steel chain wrapped around the fist of Eric Young, smashed into the post.
That allowed Hendry to get back into the driver's seat, at least for a moment.
And now Hendry sent into the diamond plate. You touched on something moments ago, how in the world this match got signed off on in the first place. All those instances I just talked about where I've asked the question, how does Eric Young still have a job? Something doesn't add up here, you know what I mean?
That's the only thing I can think of, somebody who's twisted as much as Eric Young.
Oh, wait a minute, think about a pile driver on top of the steel steps.
That's a bad way to go, I'll tell you that much.
Trying to get Hendry up. Hendry trying to survive. Down goes Young.
And that's a long way down for Eric Young.
Joe Hendry showing his resolve against Eric Young in this no disqualifications match.
And Joe Hendry able to find an advantage again in this no disqualifications match against the world-class maniac. Is it enough to put it away, though?
Cover inside the ring and a kick out by Young. No disqualifications, no countouts. The only way to win is via pinfall or submission in the ring.
And Hendry trying to adapt to this battlefield. Much different than he's used to, no doubt about it. But Eric Young maybe, just maybe, has awakened a little bit more of a brutal side of the believer.
Cover, kick out by Young.
Now look at this. This is Eric Young asking for mercy.
Oh, now Young, feigning, begging, driving Joe Hendry face first into the middle turnbuckle. Now what?
Eric Young has forsaken everything and everyone around him in the name of cleansing TNA of what he sees is not fit for this company, what is not fit for this business, for this world.
Battle of two former TNA world champions. Eric Young, a TNA original, a two-time TNA world champion. Meanwhile, much of 2025 in TNA wrestling has been defined by the heights that Joe Hendry took this company to as the TNA world champion.
And once again, Eric Young in full control of this one as they head up the ramp. I mean, they can go wherever they want. They can do whatever they want. But to your point, this will ultimately have to end in the ring. But in between that time, these boys can play with as much destruction as they want.
A little flurry there from Joe Hendry, but a thumb to the eye turns things around in EY's favor.
Now in some dangerous territory.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, God. Wait.
Young, oh my God, was he trying to launch Hendry off of the stage?
Take him down.
Dangerous situation here on the edge of the stage.
Precarious positioning.
Young once again trying to go to the eye.
Tearing ripping at the face of Hendry.
Up on the shoulders, look out! Oh, now Hendry returning the favor.
Hey, doing what he's got to do.
Turnabout is fair play. Oh, and a power slam onto the stage.
Nasty landing for Young. No give on that stage.
Hendry continues to assimilate into this no disqualifications environment.
And that body slam on the stage able to give him an advantage to guide this one back to the ring where he can finally put Eric Young down for the 1, 2, 3 perhaps.
We are back here on TNA and iMPACT. This no disqualifications match between Eric Young and Joe Hendry has gone all throughout the Edmonton Expo Center, and now up on the stage. Oh, down goes Eric Young. Oh, and Young fell off the stage.
Disappeared into the sea of people here in Edmonton. And Hendry, what is on the mind of Hendry now? He's gonna follow Eric Young into the crowd here.
Hendry tracking down Young. Young has tried to cleanse TNA Wrestling. His first victim, he attempted to go after Joe Hendry of the global phenomenon, fighting back. Get him, Eric!
And Eric Young now. These two fighting out all over the arena here. They can do whatever they want.
They are exploring the space from the impact zone and beyond here in the Edmonton Expo Center.
And could this be finally the way that Eric Young is able to cleanse TNA, but Hendry keep finding ways to turn things around and stay in this fight.
And we talked about it throughout this matchup. Oh, this seemed like a matchup tailor-made for Eric Young, but Joe Hendry has adapted quickly.
Rising to the occasion, so to speak.
Eric Young busted open on the forehead, trying to get away from Joe Hendry, trying to put as much distance as he can between himself and his opponent.
You getting real, oh my God. Again?
Another one of those signs.
One of those signs of masked individuals.
The cleanse is coming. Is that a follower of Eric Young's that we're unaware of?
I mean, if Young is successful in this matchup like he plans to be, the cleanse might very well be here.
A grueling matchup just days before our biggest event of the year this Sunday, live on pay-per-view and TNA Plus in Lowell, Massachusetts, bound for glory. Oh!
Eric Young now starting to introduce more weapons into the ring itself. Ringside has already been littered with bodies and destruction.
Now Young slides in with a steel chair right to the midsection of Joe Hendry. Oh!
That chair just bent around the back of Joe Hendry.
Now Young positioning that steel chair amongst the ropes. Joe Hendry looking out to the people.
Dangerous designs in the mind of Eric Young.
The people who have believed in Joe Hendry for well over a decade, and Young sitting in a steel chair.
His own weapon turned against him in that moment. Take another look at this. Trying to send Hendry into it, but turned around, and Eric Young exploding into that steel chair. And once again, Hendry digging down deep, feeding off the crowd here.
Oh! That steel sheet right to the head.
Eric Young is off kilter here. He's on wobbly legs as Hendry builds more momentum. The strange dichotomy as Hendry does that spin with that cleanse is coming sign in the background. Which will win out, belief or bedlam?
Now thinking about the standing ovation, Eric Young once again to the eyes. We saw that before the break. Now smashing Hendry face first into the buckle.
And Eric Young dropping that chair in the center of the ring. What's on his mind now?
Oh! Lashing out with that steel sheet, and now look at this! Go for the Olympic slam! Spine first into the steel!
Is it enough, though?
Oh, Young kicks out at 2!
Remember, it was Victory Road, that standing ovation onto an inadvertent steel chair in the middle of the ring that got Joe Hendry the victory that night.
Steel chair introduced by Eric Young at Victory Road, but it's all legal tonight in this no disqualifications matchup.
Use the chair. This is what you wanted.
You can feel the fire from Joe Hendry.
Why did you let me do this? I was going to throw away. You wanted the chair. You wanted no DQ. Why?
Oh, low blow by Young.
Hendry trying to get answers, but paid for it.
Oh, God, now this pile driver into the steel chair. Eric Young beats Joe Hendry.
Here is your winner, Eric Young.
The cleanse. I don't think anyone can argue, at least in the mind of Eric Young, has now officially begun.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in 3 days, the path ends. These are the last steps on the path of purpose. Immortality awaits at Bound for Glory.